Damn it, will rich people ever leave well enough alone? Oh, everyone. Welcome back to What's on the Tube, or welcome, this is your first time. This is Joe from ActionX. Today I am reviewing Nancy Drew, episode 11. If you were unaware, What's on the Tube, it's our show where we review episodes of TV shows that are going on in the current television season, or do one-offs, depending on the schedule, depending on what's going on. So, if you're unaware, this is the Nancy Drew block of episodes. We're doing episode 11, and I gotta say, my golly, what a freaking good episode. This was a really solid episode, and we're officially at the halfway mark of the season. I think this, 22 episodes, this is the 11th episode, so we're officially halfway done with the first season. It's already been crazy how, we're finally getting some progress. We finally got progress in the mystery, sort of. Not entirely in the main mystery, but something in terms of like the overall investigation that's going to hopefully lead us towards some sort of riveting conclusions as we now are approaching the second half of the season, as we will begin with that next week. But yeah, I'm so far a solid episode. But let's go through it with the butchered recap. I'm trying to remember how did this episode begin, because the more later half of the episode really solidified things a little bit, and I'm really trying to. So we begin with a steamy CW prelude to a sex scene. That's right, we're finally seeing Nancy and Owen. I finally remember his name. I should have remembered it from the beginning, considering the fact that Owen is one of my favorite characters from Total Drama, and so I don't know why I don't remember it. But then again, I have seen the polar spectrums of TV Owen. We got the fat, lovable one and the very muscular, serious one on this show. So anyway, so we see Nancy and Owen. I was originally presuming, I knew this was a fantasy scene. We did not get any sort of expectations that this was going to happen. There have been hints, obviously, but here they are in beginning a very passionate lovemaking scene, a very PG-13 one, and then we transition to Nick, just showing up, showing that Nancy's conflicted between the two men of her life, and Lucy, and then Lucy just shows up to kind of push Nancy once again in the right direction for her investigation, taking her to a very familiar Harry Potter underneath the staircase moment, where Nancy finds out that apparently her mother was guidance counselor while she was studying for her master's a long time ago, and one of the people that she guided was Lucy Sable when she was still alive. She calls her dad, Mr. Drew, while she goes to the prison to meet him and to kind of figure out what's going on. He's once again in the unknown about, I don't know what the hell's going on, I really don't know. And she's trying to implore him to plead against the Hudsons to kind of get a plea deal going for him. He's kind of refusing it, denying it, because the Hudsons, as many people know, you can assume with rich people that are doing shady shit, they got money, they got connections. If he says anything, something's going to happen. And so Nancy takes that as a sign that, okay, she's going to seriously take matters into her own hands to get her dad out of prison. We see Nancy heading back to the Claw. No, wait, before then, we see... also, this is a really major reality check for the whole show, as... I think I made a joke earlier on in the season about, in my episode reviews, about how I wondered, how the hell do these kids still have jobs? How are they still earning money? And I apparently was an asshole for saying that, because from George's subplot of the episode was apparently that the Claw, we got a mention of this last week, but we got the full force this week. Apparently the Claw is not doing so well. It's not selling. It's not making money, and the owner wants to sell it for any sort of money, considering the fact that the business ain't doing so well. So George is trying her best to try and figure out something. She contacts I don't know why the hell do you contact the freaking rich guy that you had sex with, that you're trying to move away from, for his money. So Ryan is in the picture. Apparently, George is asking him for money. He doesn't want to get involved, so he leaves. George is kind of distraught on what to do, and I also feel bad because Nancy's still doing her mystery exploits for the whole show, and she is clearly not really focusing on the Claw. I don't even think she's clocked in for a full day of work since ever. From the last time I remember. It's been a while since she clocked in for work. So I do really feel for George that she's going through her entire close crew of, workers are now really focusing on her business, considering the fact that, again, it's another reality check where George is being more open this week, where she is talking to especially more Nick. And it's definitely an understanding that, at least in the terms of, just in general, their relationship is getting stronger. Now, whether or not that will turn into a romantic relationship or a overall better friendship, it's unclear. I'm going to be completely honest. I will not be surprised if we see a sex scene between both of them at some point in the second half. Gotta be honest there. So, we hear more about George's backstory. We kind of got a brief of this in her episode back in the beginning of the season, where she told everyone that, yeah, this is my home. This is how I pay my rent. This is how my family keeps surviving. And as well as she has also a deeper family connection, as her grandparents used to supply clans to the Claw, but with her mom being the person that she is, I won't bring it up again, she just doesn't, the connection has been soiled, but George is always still trying to mend that, even being the manager of that place. But, you know, a lot's at stake here for George, because like, this is her entire world right here. So if she gives that up, like, what does she have left? And thankfully Nick is trying to be at least a good friend and trying to, like, help her out, like giving her ideas, you know, trying to figure out, okay, how do we save the Claw? Because meanwhile, up with Bess, she's really focused on her connection with the rich family that she apparently just, the Marvins. I don't know why. I really forgot about the Marvins this season, but yeah. So Bess is like getting inch and inch closer. She's got a connection to one of the patriarchs of the family. She's finally getting it in with the Marvins, and after all these moms, I remember she's British. We finally get the British voice again when she's talking to her girlfriend, the driver / secret, police officer. So I completely forgot about that, because I literally thought that, okay, this was something we're going to introduce in this episode. We're going to let how fans' reactions go to it, and then we're just going to drop it if they don't see a positive reaction to it. But no, Bess is fully switching to the British voice to kind of be honest to herself, honest to her new girlfriend, and, honest to everyone. And I think it's the right call. It's definitely the right call that, to be yourself, especially now that you're at this new critical stage of your life. And I'm happy for her. Obviously, there's going to be some things that are going to be a little bit iffy going forward, especially for me, since the fact I'm so used to the American voice that it'll be a while before I get used to the British voice. But this episode, I really didn't notice it that much when she's talking. It just feels more natural. So I do give kudos to that. Maybe they adjusted a little bit to make it more feel natural. I'm not sure. We'll see how it turns out in the later weeks. Then we see, but before that happens, Nancy takes a little bit before that, Nancy takes Bess alongside her to kind of figure out, where is Owen? Why is Owen not returning her call? Since, another important detail I forgot to mention is that, Nancy not being able to contact Owen was a prevalent factor, but one of the other things is that she's, in terms of trying to get her dad out of prison, she decides, okay, I'm going to have to make a deal with the devil. That's right, she's making a deal with goddamn Mr. Hudson. The guy that he looks so similar, he looks so familiar to me, I just cannot remember his damn name for the life of me, the actor's name. So she makes a deal with him, like, listen, I know, he's like, I know what Owen's up to, you have a connection with him, if you can give me some sort of juicy detail about his case against me, I will let your father out of prison. He'll make some connection calls. So Nancy decides to look up Owen, tries to figure out what he's up to in his investigation. And he finds out, they all converge onto this apartment building, and they find out that there was apparently a survivor of the yacht crash that Owen is so dead set on exposing the Hudsons for. There's actually a survivor, but he's in hiding. He's scared for his life, and he's also being haunted by the people who has died in his way. He feels responsible that he didn't get to save them, nor has he gotten to avenge their death yet. And despite an initial kind of good pace of the original conversation, it doesn't go so well, and he refuses to help them out. So it kind of puts everything in distraught. Bess leaves for the lunch with the patriarch of the Marvin family. They seem to be doing well, but obviously, with any rich family, a good amount of rich family, I'm not going to say every rich family, but most of them, they have a certain, we have a certain style of things that we need to keep in ourselves when it comes to, even seeing new members. Reminds me of the Kardashians. And one of the conditions is that, while she's okay with Bess being, a lesbian, she's not okay with the title of what her girlfriend or future partner will be. Apparently, the term is that Marvins cannot marry drivers. Now, obviously, we know she's not a driver. She's a police officer. But, Bess is being the good girlfriend, not trying to expose her girlfriend during so many investigations going on. So, she does the right thing and not, overreacting, but just keeping her calm, and I respect that. I believe Nancy and Owen doesn't really get anywhere in their conversation, I believe. From what I remember, they do progress a little bit more in the investigation, but Nancy's still trying to figure out how does this benefit her to trying to figure out how to get her dad out of prison. Meanwhile, George and Nick back at the Claw figure out that, okay, let's throw a big party to kind of get everyone back acquainted into the Claw so that they can start making some money again, start trying to get business rolling again. And it's actually a sweet moment as we see another side of George, her more open side. We get to see her telling Nick, okay, when I was a kid, I used to write all my name underneath every single table, and they're having a moment where she's allowing Nick to write his name under one of the tables before Nancy interrupts him. That kind of ruins the moment. Nancy kind of pulls aside Nick, trying to give him an update on what's going on, with her, deal with the devil, with the survivor she found. And after talking a little bit, she realizes, okay, we need to go see him. And it's another forward in terms of I feel sorry for George, since she has this moment with Nick, okay, Nancy's not on my side. Another thing to mention, Ace is not even in this episode. He's not in this episode. What the hell happened to him? We finally got him back last week, and he's gone again. Where'd he go? Did they just can't afford him? What's going on in CW? I mean, we finally get Ace back. We finally get a pseudo-Ace episode, and you just write him off the next episode. They said a line there. I don't remember where Ace is. He's dealing with something with his dad, apparently. That's unfortunate, but still, whatever. But to get to the point, George is really can't depend on Nancy, can't depend on Bess, because they're doing their own things. Meanwhile, her entire livelihood is at stake, and Nick's the only one who really, is coming to her rescue, or at least giving her a hand. And the thing that she says later on in the episode is that whenever it involves Nancy, you drop everything for her. And it's also another sign that George is starting to develop some sort of connection with Nick, regardless if it's romantic or not. There is a connection there, and she's kind of distraught that Nick is willing to drop everything for Nancy, even after their breakup. So I think from then, Nancy and Nick head back to the survivor's house. I know he has a name. It's a complicated name. I can't pronounce it. So, and they interrupt him while he's in the middle of one of his hauntings, where he's imagining himself back on the ship and seeing him, have this vivid reaction to seeing all of his friends and crew members die right in front of him, and he couldn't do anything. So from then on, Nancy is determined, okay, I got a plan here. So we finally get to see this long-awaited dinner that Ryan's been teasing for an episode. Okay, that was kind of anticlimactic there. So we see Ryan with his family, the Hudsons, and we get to see the Marvins with Bess and Owen, kind of having this very tense family dinner, so to speak. I don't know why they're doing this, even though they clearly all hate each other. And Nancy just pops in, kind of exposing the fact that, okay, look, this is the deal that's going on. I have your information. Owen's kind of in the straw, Nancy betrayed him. So she and Mr. Hudson go to his office, discuss details of the arraignment, and Mr. Hudson agrees to okay, I'll give him $2 million, and able to relocate him as well to clarify that he's not going to testify against me. So he does that. He deposits the money, and while they're returning to the family dinner, Bess's girlfriend and the entire FBI, CIA, FBI, Secret Service, I forgot what branch that she's working under. They show up, and they apparently figures out the account he deposited the money was the account for the organization, for the operation. So they caught him red-handed, and they arrest Mr. Hudson on the spot. Finally, a victory. This is a victory. This is what happens when you fuck things over. You're gonna get caught. And so he gets caught. He gets taken away. And of course, obviously, the wife is like, "Why'd you do this? Why'd you trust us?" You know what? I should have left you after you banged that other dude. Clearly, the bluntest response you can have to your wife when you're getting arrested. That was perfect. So apparently, Nancy and Owen, this was entirely their plan to kind of fake a fight, so this would feel natural, so that this can all happen. So they got him. But however, I think there was a key word. Something gets said. Nancy remembers something from before that I personally myself missed, where Dead Lucy was pointing out a specific spot in the house. And she finds there was a secret compartment which reveals Lucy's guidance counselor report from her mom's stash that was taken. Another thing I missed, like there was in her file, in Nancy's mom's files, Lucy had a file, but her files were gone. So this is where the files ended up. She takes them away. Nancy's about to leave the place. She runs into Owen. They kind of briefly celebrate their victory. They have a long-awaited kiss, but Nancy's not willing to pursue this forward at this current juncture. She doesn't really give a reason. You can assume it's like, okay, everything else is going on. It's too much to handle. Maybe it's Nick. We don't know. Meanwhile, back at the Claw, it's a rousing success. Everything's going well, but the Claw's owner shows up to tell Joy, listen, someone is interested in the Claw. I'm going to take whatever offer they're going to give me. So it kind of breaks George's heart. But however, later on, it's revealed that Nick is apparently going to be using his bonds to buy the Claw from him and like have a joint partnership with George. So at least their relationship is going to continue in a very strong, positive way in the future. Bess and her girlfriend have their "I love you" moment, and I think this is the first time they sleep with each other. I'm not sure. I totally forgot. Nancy tells her dad what was going on recently. And despite the fact that Nancy did have a deal in place to get him out, she's like, I did the right thing, and her dad's totally in agreement. However, Nancy has said, like, listen, you are the one who can get yourself out of there. You need to testify against the Hudsons. So he decides, okay, I'm going to do it. I'll do this. And then we get a call from Mrs. Hudson. We got a scene with her calling someone like, listen, we're in the shit right now. If Mr. Drew testifies, we're all dead. We're all done. So she said, eliminate him. Because it's not only going to kill him and a possible, line of like being destroyed, it's also going to send to Nancy like, you don't fuck things over. And I believe that's where we end the episode. So again, honestly, this was a really strong episode. Like this felt like a halfway mark of the season where we get some big revelations, we get some big moments in the episode. We finally get to see a Hudson behind bars. Hopefully it sticks. We get to see the characters go into very interesting directions, relationships developing into new stages, and I'm very curious to see how the second half is going to play out. While none of the Tiffany murder is still not solved. The dead Lucy case is not solved yet. We still have Nancy's arraignment coming, which has been long delayed. Like, you get arraigned in the second episode. It is episode 11. It's been 9 episodes and you're still not arraigned yet. Anywho, but either way, we're in the very interesting position to see where the second half will take us. And so far, overall, by the halfway mark, I'm enjoying the series. I'm enjoying the season, and I'm hopefully they'll be able to keep this momentum going throughout the second half. So yeah, 2 thumbs up on my books. Now, before we wrap things up, it's time for Joe's Mystery Corner. Joe's Mystery Corner. Joe's Mystery Corner. Do. Anywho, so welcome back to Joe's Mystery Corner. Do we have any updates in the Tiffany case? We do not. It's still prevalent that the Hudsons are involved in it somehow, with Mr. Hudson now going to be behind bars. Will we finally get some sort of confession in that front, or some sort of connection? Oh, actually, now that I remember this, the Lucy Sable folder from the Nancy's mom's files apparently reveals that if she was to end up dead, it's because of her mom. So we got that, but that's the dead Lucy stuff. I'm just having that epiphany now, and that remembrance. But in terms of the Tiffany case, I still think it's the Hudsons. Somehow, how'd they do it? Something with the poison, but we had to drop that point for the dead Lucy stuff. And on the dead Lucy case, I still believe it's the Hudsons, but does her mom have anything to play here? I don't think we've been introduced to Lucy's mom yet. I don't believe so. I think we got introduced to her brother earlier in the season, who is Nick's employer, but I don't remember if we've seen the mom yet. So who is this mysterious mom, and does she play a factor into this mystery? Hopefully we'll find out in the second half. But right now, without knowing that character or her motivations, from now, we're going to still stick with the Hudsons being the perpetrators in both the Dead Lucy case and the Tiffany case. And that was the end of the Mystery Corner this week. And yeah, overall, strong episode. 2 thumbs up again. very happy to see where the second half goes. The next episode, from what the preview tells me, it's going to be a very interesting episode. Is where it seems like, again, something that this is what I kind of wanted from the beginning, but they kind of delve into an interesting direction where it's like we're getting these one-off mysteries, these different mysteries that have nothing to do with the actual case in theory, but they do have some sort of like connection towards the actual mystery. This is what I want, and hopefully next week's episode will make a stronger case for it, like last week's episode did, sort of to speak. And I'm excited. Anyway, that's going to do it for me, guys. So if you were taking a nap or something, I hope you enjoyed your nap. This was What's on the Tube from ActionX. If you want to see more from What's on the Tube, specifically for Nancy Drew, overall, we post new episodes every Thursday, hopefully barring any delays. Hopefully this will be the first one to go live on time in like a while. But if you want to know what's coming up overall on What's on the Tube, if you're curious, like, what else do I talk about on this show? Right now, we're kind of in a weird spot since this coming Saturday, we have High School Musical, the musical, the series, season 2 predictions, and hopes that will kind of like hopefully be more of like a predictions and kind of like building up some early hype for season 2. But however, all of our season 1 content has wrapped up. All 10 episode reviews has been uploaded. The first season review has been uploaded as well. So if you're interested in that, check that out. It's all on the channel. We also did the Rookie, but that's still on break for, sadly, another 4 weeks. Jesus Christ. I missed the show. Actually, it comes back in a month, so very excited to get back to that world yet, but I'm still doing one-offs, there and there. I'm not really trying to commit to a schedule right now on the one-offs. It's whenever I'm able to talk about a show, I'll talk about it. And I figure I got something interesting planned for next week, but there's no guarantee since I'm all over the place. Classes are starting up for me again, actually tomorrow, so we'll see how this semester goes in terms of like the schedule. But then again, overall, What's on the Tube will remain the priority for this channel, so you will always be guaranteed a What's on the Tube episode on Nancy Drew every Thursday. And so if you want to see more of What's on the Tube from ActionX, please subscribe to the channel. Please ring the bell for notifications when we have a new video live. Follow us on all the social media feeds, including Twitter and Twitch. Like, favorite, share the video if you please. I'm going to go get this episode done. Get ready for classes tomorrow, guys. So wish me luck. Thank you, Drew Crew fans. See you guys next week. Peace out.